what do you do? Well, one, I think we actually are winning. I think we're in a much better place than we were last year. I think people realize some of the policies that were advocated are really insane and are not going to keep people safe. I think that there is hopefully a growing appreciation of everything everyone's done, particularly over the last difficult year and a half. In the state of Florida, though, we wanted to put our money where our mouth is. So in the last legislative session, I called for, the legislature passed, $1,000 bonuses for every single sworn Zoom calls and did a whole bunch of other stuff, stayed home, did all these things. People wearing the uniform didn't have that luxury. They needed to be out there, they needed to be helping in a variety of things, and they did a great job. And so we wanted to show our appreciation for that, and also just for all the negative that they've had to deal with. Some of these narratives we're talking about, the politicization, the attempt to divide, and the attempt to marginalize the people that wear the uniform. And we wanted to say thank you. Obviously the money's helpful, but you know what? People have written into my office, and almost all of them say, you know what, we really appreciate the money, I'm going to use it for something, but we really just appreciate the thought. The thought that you're there in the governor's office thinking about us and standing up for us and recognizing us really means more than you know. So we're happy to have done that, and we're happy to be pushing back on some of the folks that have treated law enforcement so poorly. But we also look in Florida, and I think we've got a great opportunity. I mean, some of you probably know there's a little bit of interest in people moving to Florida from different states right now. It's always been true to a certain extent, but I think lately it's been true more than ever. And I think about, okay, people talk about let's recruit this business or that or all this other stuff. And I'm like, you know what? If we're going to be recruiting people, I want to be recruiting people. It's not about dollars and cents. I want to be able to recruit people who are going to be good members of the community, who are going to make our community stronger, who are going to help in a variety of ways. And so to me, one of the biggest opportunities we have in the state of Florida is to say to people who are well-trained, professional, and have worked really hard, some for many, many years in other parts of the country, who may not be treated very well right now, whose morale may be low, and we can look to you and say, you know what, there's a spot in the state of Florida for you. We value your service and we want you to come. And so I'm going to be seeking in the next legislative session, which will be in January, new initiatives to help recruit and retain talent in law enforcement. And that'll involve bringing people into Florida who've demonstrated proficiency, but also trying to get young people to view law enforcement as a noble calling and as a profession that they want to go to. So the first part of this is we're going to be authorizing anybody who's in law enforcement outside of Florida who moves in to take a job, or any new person, young person who goes through the training and is just starting out a career in law enforcement. We're going to support with state funds a $5,000 signing bonus for everybody that comes. We're also going to take care at state expense any costs associated with certification exams and training programs that would be necessary for relocating officers to have to complete. And we're also going to set aside $5 million for law enforcement academy scholarship programs. We give scholarships in Florida. We have Bright Futures where people go to college, which is great. But we also want to say, you know what, if you're going into one of these academies, I don't know, you may not be somebody that has the means. We want to be able to provide scholarship opportunities for that as well. So we're going to do that. And I think the message that we're sending is for the folks out there that may be demoralized and morale may be low, you're not getting support in some of these communities, which quite frankly, some of these communities have just gone insane with what they're doing. And so it's got to be very frustrating. And we're just saying, you know what? We've got our little oasis of freedom down in Florida. We respect the rule of law. We respect the people that wear the uniform. And we may very well have spots for you, and we're going to make sure to reward the folks that want to come and help keep us safe. But particularly with these young people, to make sure that they understand that this is something that if you go into this in Florida, it's going to be something that we're going to look up to you for doing. We're not going to denigrate you. We're not going to treat you poorly. We're not going to use you as a political tool. You will be honored the minute you put that uniform on. And I think that that's an important message for, because you've got a lot of people that are very experienced, and God bless you, you've done great. But we also got to think about going forward. This has got to be something that people are going to want to go into. So we're going to be doing some other initiatives as well for our state law enforcement, but I think these are going to be really significant. And you already have people coming down, but I think this is going to make sure that we're going to have even more. So final thing I will just say is, freedom is not free. Having a successful society is not always easy. I think you only have to look